So the NBA has debuted its in-season tournament, and I'm not going to hold you, Ryan. I actually have loved what I've seen so far. Now, when we heard about it, we said, what is this? Like, so there's like an in-season cup that's like a trophy that counts as like a championship, but it's not the championship. We speculated, will players actually care about what's happening? But I think LeBron's buy-in, the players buy-in, I think around the league, it's actually helped to amplify what it is. And you know what? Even if the jerseys and the courts are ridiculous to some people, what it does, it like actually heightens the experience for the fan, and I think for the players as well. So, Ryan, if you had to give your honest estimation for your early and initial impressions of the in-season tournament, what do you think?
Yeah, I was skeptical initially. I did not know what to really expect with this when all of the jersey releases and the court releases were coming out. I was definitely a little skeptical, if I'm going to be honest. But as we've seen it play out, as we've seen, hey, every Tuesday and Friday of November, that's when all the tournament games are happening. That's when
Mhm.
all the group play games are happening, and it has been really cool to see
Yeah.
the way that this is manifested. And I think the entire NBA audience has really started to get behind this thing early on. I'm sort of surprised by that.
Yeah, and it's fun because I think now even, we're getting ready for another in-season tournament game. This whole thing about like, oh, we got another in-season tournament game coming up. The courts are going to be there. I wonder what the opponent jerseys are going to look like on the court, And I think like it's just as cool. Like it's just a new little feature to the league. Who knows if it stays around longer than this season? We'll find out what the play-in. Eventually, the play-in stuck, and that's what kind of reminds me of like the play-in when it first got debuted. I was like, 10 teams. Why would if you made 7 through 8 that you have to compete with 9 and 10? So your record can be whatever, but then the Minnesota Timberwolves win the playing game. Granted, Paul George had to miss the game because of COVID, so they would have won. But Minnesota wins the game, and then you get the clipper, the clip of the players throwing off jerseys and screaming into the crowd and all this other stuff. And you're like, you know what? This is actually kind of cool. And then you see the Lakers make it in through the play-in, make it to the Western Conference Finals. You see them, the Jimmy Butler-led Heat, make it to the NBA Finals from the play-in. I think it actually has added some mysticism to the NBA. And I think now the in-season tournament, who knows, man, it might add another layer to it. Like, hey, you win an in-season tournament cup and you win in-season tournament MVP, that carries you on for the rest of the year.
It is kind of cool to think about it. How are these in-season tournament champions? How are they going to be remembered? How are the tournament MVPs going to be remembered? Is this going to be kind of a lasting award? Is this going to be a fleeting kind of thing? I'm curious to see it, but it is very funny. I do agree with you firmly that when you're early on in something, you just don't know how it's going to play out. And
Right.
there's natural skepticism in a lot of ways on, is this going to be cool? Is this not going to be cool? I mean, Steph Curry's treating it like the NBA Finals. And if he's going to treat it like the NBA Finals, then I think it's important for everybody else too, as well. The
Mm-hmm.
Nuggets themselves have won each of their first two games. They've shortened their rotations in a lot of ways. They're trying. Nikola
Mm-hmm.
Jokic is putting up some of the craziest stat lines we've ever seen
And
in a lot of
the
these games.
craziest stat lines you've ever seen in the in-season tournament game. Never before seen.
Never before seen. They're gonna have to rename the in-season tournament MVP after Nikola Jokic when he puts up Wilt numbers in this.
Right. Look, I'm excited, man. I think it's going to be fun. I think that, like, again, it just adds another layer to it. I think the court combinations have been fun. People don't like the Bulls one. I love the red. I love red. Red's my favorite color,
It's
basically.
hard to watch. I'm not gonna lie. I disagree with you on that one.
I
It's
like
like,
it.
oh god.
It's bold. It's like, now, if the team was better, you wouldn't say nothing. If that was LeBron
True.
or Giannis out there dominating on the red court, but it's DeMar DeRozan, Alex Caruso, Zach LaVine, and Nikola Vucevic. Like, all right, great. I
Yeah.
get it. You don't love it. But in the Warriors, I thought I had a really nice court. The Lakers have an interesting court as well. So, again, it's definitely like a pimp my ride court. Like, you know what I mean? As I've seen as those used to be. But I definitely think that this is just a nice feature. And then, you know what? Honestly, it's for the kids. It's for the 2K generation, for the My Player generation. They make their courts, they make their jerseys, they, doll up their players with all this kind of merchandise and persona. And the NBA is just kind of buy into a little of that. They're appealing to a younger generation that already thinks this way anyway. So you know what? You might be 25 and up or 30 and up, and you might not love it. But I guarantee you 10, 12, 15, 18, by the time you get to be in your early, mid-20s, late 20s, this is going to be a part of your life in the NBA experience.
And it's clear that the idea of a $500K reward for each of the players and the head coach, I think that has been good. That has been received well by the players. And you saw players, including Michael Porter Jr. today for the Nuggets, talking about, man, it's not just for it's a lot of money to anybody, even guys that are making $30 million a year. But it's more even valuable for those guys on the end of the bench who are either on two-way contracts or minimum deals. It's life-changing money for a lot of people and a lot of families. So you see guys trying really hard for the prospect of that, knowing how valuable it can be. So I love it.
Brother like me, 500 pounds ain't doing much. Ain't doing much. But you know what? Hey, I might get I might get me with that Rolls Royce I've been looking at. It ain't gonna do much for a brother like me, but I'll take it.
Big baller brand Swipa. Okay.
Big baller brand swiping with Swipa coming near you. The swiping ones.
Collaboration of a generation right there. That would be awesome. So real quick, how do we feel about Denver's chances to win this thing? Because they've started out 2-0. Houston has not lost in their group play stage yet. So that matchup I'm really circling for sure. But it does feel like if Denver kind of wins this game on Friday here, it's going to be interesting to see if they could push out a group play and maybe win this entire thing.
Well, that's the funny thing. It's like, oh, the good teams are winning. Yeah, well, they're really freaking good. So, I think that's the thing. It's just, I think Denver can win, but I think Denver can win just because they're like, should we take this game serious? And if the answer is yes, then it's like, all right, well, you have to deal with this full onslaught of Porter, Gordon, Murray when he comes back, Jokic, and then you got the defenders coming off the bench. Michael Malone making in-season tournament finals level coaching adjustments and all that stuff. So I think it's going to be fun, man. I think it's just something else fun to do. Like, it just gives them something to do during the mundane. Because we're in November and December. Like, I mean, these players don't always want to play these games, but now if it's the in-season tournament,
this is football time, right? Like this for so many years has been football time where many fans, if they're fans of multiple sports, they don't care about basketball in the October and November months. And frankly, the Denver Nuggets kind of didn't either until December 8th.
Oh, wait a minute. I have a perfect NBA scenario. Ryan Sharpburn, are you ready?
Let's go. Ryan Sharpburn's here for you.
We will most likely never see Joel Embiid Joker in an NBA Finals matchup because the Sixers probably won't make it out. What if we got a Jokic Embiid in-season tournament finals game with 500,000 and MVP rights on the line and regular season Joel Embiid?
Dude, that dude's taking 40 shots.
He might get 45, 15, and 5 that game, bro. For real. That would be spectacular. I might root for Embiid. I might root for Embiid during that game. Just bro, go get it. Like, this is your moment.
Yeah. That's a fun scenario to think about. And there are so many other scenarios too that you may not get at the end of the year. Like what about Jokic versus Giannis and Dame versus Murray? What about if it's not the Nuggets, then what if it was, I don't know, the Lakers versus the Celtics? Like I could absolutely see that being a way that the NBA could brand it pretty well. They'd be pretty happy with that one. So there's a lot of different combinations.
What would be the worst in-season tournament matchup you could think of? Like for the finals.
Okay, so Utah right now is 2-0 in their group. Like that'd be pretty tough for the NBA. But in terms
of sell the first one ever, Laurie Marketing special.
Man, who else is undefeated in the Eastern Conference? Miami is undefeated. Milwaukee's still undefeated. Indiana, Atlanta's undefeated. What about Utah versus Atlanta, the Quinn Snyder Bowl?
Oh, no. In Las Vegas, Trae Young putting up 35 full-up three-point shooters. I don't know. That'd be kind of fun. That'd be kind of fun.
Are you really tuning into that one? I'm not sure if I would.
Look, I live in Atlanta. I like the Hawks. I don't know what to tell you, bro. That would be fun to watch. You know what's funny? But here's the funny thing. I feel like you almost have to be – this is the two categories. You either already have to be solidified in the NBA, like Jokic, Giannis, Curry, Braun, Durant, Kawhi. You got to be one of those dudes. Or you got to be an up-and-coming dude, like Tyrese Halliburton, in-season tournament MVP, De'Aaron Fox, or, one of these other players, SGA. No, this is a launch pad for the rest of the season. Ant, right? This is who we thought he was. But if this is Embiid, Booker, or one of these dudes that are solidified and their first thing that they win and only ever win is the in-season tournament, you're about to see the clown show of the year on NBA Twitter.
Man, that's the only thing that they got. Only way you're ever going to get a championship is the one that
gets washed out in the second round, and the only thing you have to show for it is an in-season tournament cup. I'm telling you, the jokes write themselves, Brian. I'm just ahead of it.
Man, he is the maestro himself, Swipa. Dude, this is going to be fun. I've loved the in-season tournament and every little bit of layer that we get. I mean, we got fights from it too. So like this thing, it does matter. We got multiple fights. Like people care.
0-0 scores and Draymond. And then Steve Kerr talking about if you look at the tape, Jaden did grab Clay first, and Draymond was just trying to protect his teammates. Like, all right, Steve. Okay, no problem. 5-game suspension.
Oh man, this is going to be
first
fun.
Player suspended in-season tournament history.
Oh, that Draymond would get that award. He would. That's the. You know what people are talking about? He doesn't want to play with Steph. He just want to be the first player eliminated from the in-season tournament.
On a 0-0 score, right.
Oh my God.
That was insane.
Oh, man. Well, this has been fun. This is a good conversation about the in-season tournament. Why don't we do this again in a couple weeks when the group play is all wrapped up? I think we could definitely chat about this, see where things stand at that point, and then maybe make some predictions on the bracket. That would be fun.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm excited, bro. Let's do it again, man, because there's a lot of stuff to talk about with this.
A lot of stuff to talk about. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button down below. We will talk to you guys very soon.